the heart is a big muscular organ, okay? And it definitely, remember, cells working together make tissues, tissues working together make organs. So this is an organ, okay? And if we look at the heart, we can look inside of the heart, and what we have is 4 chambers. Okay? So on the whiteboard, I want you to make 4 chambers. Okay? So I want you to draw a structure that has 4 chambers. The 2 on the top are a little bit smaller than the 2 on the bottom. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. Okay, and nowadays we can take dyes and we can send it through people's bodies and we can see exactly how blood flows. But way back in the day, the only way they could tell what a heart looked like or anything was when someone died. They would cut them open, they would cut the heart open and look at it, dissect the heart. Okay, so we're going to pretend we're way back, and just by looking at the anatomy of the heart, we're going to figure out how does blood flow through the heart. Okay, so far we've just established that the 2 chambers on top are smaller than the 2 chambers on the bottom. Okay, now connecting the chambers, we have a little channel that kind of connects them. So just wipe out a little bit of the there, okay, and there. So these chambers are connected, these 4 chambers, in this way. All right, now coming out of the top chamber, okay, so at the top left chamber, I want you to put a blood vessel coming out at the top left, so looking at the left. Oh yeah, you can use red. That's a good idea. Just make a blood vessel just coming out of there. Yep. Yep. Okay. So make it like a little passageway, like a double. Make another one. Okay. Good. All right. So we've got, and I want you to write on that body. Okay. Just right near there, the body.
Okay.
Must be from the body. Okay. Now, likewise, and the lower one on your right. Okay. There's another one coming out, and write body on that. All right. Now, the lower left, looking at it from the left, that one is going to say lungs. And the upper one is also going to say lungs. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you one hint, okay? So this is body, lungs, lungs, body. Okay? Now, on the lower right, I want you to make really strong muscular walls. See on this model here how this side is kind of a thin wall, and this is very muscular. So I want you to represent that on your drawing. So just draw it real strong and thick. Okay, so that one's real strong and thick, very muscular, whereas the other one is not so muscular. Okay, this is what we have so far. We have 4 tubes, we have 4 chambers, we have a connection between the chambers, and we have a nice strong wall in the lower right. Now the heart sits in your chest, So this would actually be the left side of your heart you're kind of looking at. So that would be the left side of your heart, but it's the right side of this diagram, okay? All right. I've given you some red and blue dots. Now, what is blue typically representing?
Veins.
Veins. So when you look at all these models, they have red and blue. The blue, and remember that the red and the blue kind of come in pairs. Okay. By the way, these veins and arteries are really, really important. Have you ever heard of the coronary arteries? Okay, so when someone has a heart attack, what happens is one of these is blocked. Okay. So the heart, remember, is alive. All the cells in the heart are alive, so they need a constant supply of gases and nutrients. But sometimes there's a blockage here, so anything below that in the blood vessel, it's not going to get the oxygen. It's not going to get the nutrients.
What causes that block?
So what causes that is cholesterol, is plaques, is like cholesterol becomes like a hard substance, and it'll block that. And sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's lifestyle, eating too many saturated fats and so on. But what doctors have been able to do is they'll perform a bypass operation. So this would be like a triple bypass. So they take a vessel out of your leg and they attach it here, and if the blockage is right here, they bypass it. Because if the blockage is right here, that means all this part of the heart is not going to get what it needs. It's going to die. That's a heart attack. Okay? A massive heart attack is when one of these major vessels is blocked. Nothing below it is going to get what it needs. A minor heart attack is when one of these smaller ones, so only this section would. And sometimes when people have these minor heart attacks, somehow things are regenerated and the damage isn't permanent. But when someone has a major heart attack, quite often they just die because the whole heart doesn't get the oxygen, and so they just die. What we need to figure out here is where is the blood that's coming from the body going into, where is the blood that's coming from the lungs going into, where is the blood that's going to the lungs from what chamber, okay? And the biggest clue is this one is really, really strong. So if this one is really, really strong, does that mean that's the one that's pumping the blood to the whole body? Or is that the one that's receiving the blood from the whole body? And so we're going to use these blue and red dots. And again, your blood is always red. Okay, there's a professor in the School of Ed that tells people that your blood is blue when it's inside and it turns red when it hits the air.
What I heard.
That's not true.
Really?
No, if you take red blood and you stick it in a test tube and you stick it in milk, it'll look blue. It's just the fats and things, the way the light diffuses, it makes it look blue. But blood is always red. Sometimes it's redder than, sometimes it's more red and less red depending on how much oxygen it's containing. Okay. So we use the blue to